They were favored this year. They won 59. I think it was 59 games. I think it was 59 this year. 59 or 6. I think 59. So he gets fired with a year left on his contract. He improved the team in terms of record 6 out of 7 years. Here's what Lowry said. There's no quotes from DeRozan. Lowry said, Case is one of the best coaches I ever had. We didn't always see eye to eye, but he let me be me. He allowed me to go out there and express myself. Both DeMar and I became 4-time All-Stars under his leadership. He was huge in our growth as players and men. They made a decision. I support the decision. They had a tough decision to make. Now, did ownership side with the player? Was it that they felt they took him as far as he could? Or was this about what went on with the player? In this league right now, the player wins over the coach. And I think you're seeing this. You're seeing Callaway come into the Mets and say, hey, you know, first thing I want the players to know I love them. No, that should be the first thing. You want the players. And you know what? I understand it's changed. And you heard me talk to Fizdale about how it's changed. But you know what? There should still be, the coach should still be allowed to coach and be tough and to sit down guys when they need to be sat down. And you know what? He doesn't owe everybody an explanation. And this time, you want to say DeRozan won? Now, I don't know if DeRozan won or not, because maybe they just were frustrated because for 2 straight years they lose when they thought they should have won, and they lost. But they lost to LeBron James twice in a row. So here's what the team president said. He said, after a careful consideration, I decided this was a very difficult decision, but a step that we needed to take as a franchise. We're trying to grow and improve. We celebrate everything Dwane has done for the organization. We thank him. He was instrumental in creating an identity and culture here, and we're proud of that. Now, Casey had 1 year left on his contract, $6.5 million. They owe him. So they're paying him off when he's got to pay him $6.5 million for next year. He won 59 games this year. He did lose. They were favored to win the series. I mean, I never thought they would win the series. I mean, I know some people did. They were heavy favorite to win the series, and now they lose 4 straight, and now you have the whole argument. You see, I think organizations now have become too player-friendly. I think that's the message here. And I think it's become very hard to coach successfully for that reason. And listen, like I said, there's certain players who earn that right to be partners. They're that good. DeMar DeRozan's not one of those guys. You can't go to that level and do that with him. If it's LeBron, if it's Larry Bird, if it's, you know, certain players, Magic Johnson, those guys, I understand it. This is a tough one. And this is what you're hearing all over the league. LeBron was asked about it. He said, I have no comment. Here's what Ty Lue said. He said, for what he's done for that team and for that culture of that team, I mean, he got coach of the year and then you get fired the next day. That's crazy. So was this a case of the player-coach relationship fraying because of what went on? He basically told his player, sit down, you're not doing the job, and now he's out of a job. Marsh in Brooklyn, what's up, Marsh?
Yeah, Mike, great to have you back.
Thank you, what's up?
There's so many sides to this story, because one of the points that Barkley was making was that when Pop went to his player and told him, listen, I wasn't using you right. So that's what he's trying to say, that you got to repair that. But the other side is, he's not playing good. I coach high school basketball, and
you should be allowed to sit down your star player if he's not playing well.
If he's not playing well, you bench him. But you do at some point go back to him and say, listen, you got to play better.
Well, that's fine, but that doesn't mean you owe him anything. You don't owe him an explanation of why you sat him down. He should know why he's sitting down. We're losing, and you're not doing the job. That's why you're sitting down.
Exactly. But then why does Casey now get fired?
Well, because they took the player's side, because now these ownerships all think that they have to keep the players happy, which is what Charles was saying. So I agree with Shaq, but practicality right now looks to be on the side of Barkley, who's saying, hey, you keep the players happy. This man did a great job coaching this team. He won 59 games. Now, if you're firing him because you said, hey, we shouldn't have lost in the second round, this was our year, that's a different reason for firing him than if it's about the relationship with DeRozan. So they could use either one. Hey, 2 years in a row, we were disappointed we lost in the second round. We got swept both years by Cleveland. We're upset about that. Well, you get losing to LeBron James. He's an immortal player. But as you say, well, let's see what Brad Stevens said, because Brad Stevens made a comment, too. Brad Stevens said, Casey is a role model for a lot of coaches when you think about how the job he's done and what a tremendous job he's done making his players better every day. And to me, that's what a coach does. And how he does it, some coaches will do it with a velvet glove. Some guys will do it with a hammer. But their idea is to make the player better. And I agree with Charles about partnerships. When it's the great player. When it's LeBron James, you can't push him around like that, nor should you be allowed to. He's LeBron James. He's already proved who he is. DeMar DeRozan's not LeBron James. He's not, Magic Johnson. Ken in Jersey, what's up, Ken?
Michael, hello, welcome back.
What's happening?
A little bit about what you said with LeBron. I agree. He's an immortal player, and that's somebody that you can't really dictate to. That being said, I'm a big LeBron fan. I'm also a Sixers fan. I think it makes a fit for him to go there next year. He says he wants to maybe play off the ball. I was a little unimpressed with Brett Brown. In the playoffs, he definitely got out-coached by Brad Stevens. He had the better roster. Is there any chance of
his kids were green, though?
LeBron,
his kids are green, though.
LeBron, they're very green and very young, and that's why I think LeBron could be a great mentor to Simmons. What are your thoughts on him being signed to both play and maybe be the coach?
Oh, I don't think he has any interest in coaching. I think he's too smart to be involved in that. There's too much to do. The days of the player coach are over. I think it's just there's too much to do. Way too much to do. You can't do that and carry as much of the load as he carries. I think he'd have to be a part-time player before that could happen. I just think that's too hard, way too hard to do. So I don't see that part. Listen, if LeBron could go somewhere else next year, I think that's absolutely possible, yeah. But this is fascinating because it comes up now as a thread. That's why I played that, because I don't usually play those kind of things like I played with Barkley and Shaq. But my point was, that is so much at the heart of everything you hear about new coaches when they sign now, about how they're going to deal with players and how they're going to relate to players. Joe Girardi didn't relate to the players anymore. Aaron Boone was going to be a guy who could relate to the players. Fizdale talked about relating to the players. Callaway talked about loving the players when he came in. That's all you're hearing now. It has swung so much that way. And now here's Dwane Casey wins 59 games. Now, they were favored to win the series, which was crazy, and they lost to the great LeBron James in 4 straight. And the team played terribly, and he benched DeRozan, and now he gets fired. And I think what he did was right. Let me give you the Met lineup quickly. Nimmo, Cabrera, Cespedes, Gonzalez, Flores, Conforto, Mesoraco, Matz, Rosario. So Cespedes back in the lineup. Flores is at third. Remember, Frazier's on the DL. Bruce is on paternity leave. So Nimmo in center, Cabrera, Cespedes in left, Gonzalez, Flores at third, Conforto, Mesoraco, Matz, Rosario. Dominic Smith is up. That's the Met lineup. I already gave you the Yankee lineup. Mets in Philly this evening. That's where we are. You'll hear from Keith Hernandez. He's got the new book out right now, so we'll talk to Keith at 4:30 about the Mets and about his book. We'll talk to Bill Simmons at 5 as we'll preview the 2 NBA conference finals, which begin Sunday and Monday. Cleveland and Boston on Sunday, Houston and Golden State on Monday. Eric in Jersey. What's up, Eric?
Hey, what's up, Mike? Welcome back.
Thank you. What's happening?
Hey, what do you see the Yankees winding up record-wise?
I think the Yankees are going to win 100 games.
100 games?
Yeah, I do.
Over?
I think they're, I picked them as an over this year. I think they're going to win a lot of games, yes. I think they have a young team. I think they have a deep roster. I think they have a way to put players who are performers in the lineup when they have injuries. I think they can cover for their injuries. I think they have the ability to add a pitcher when they need to. I think they have a lot of answers. And to me, they can answer any problem that comes their way. I think they're going to have a very, very big season. Sonny in Malvern. What's up, Sonny?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. What's up?
I want to talk about the Mets. But first, how does Brad Stevens not get one single vote from his peers for Coach of the Year?
I don't worry about that, but it does seem crazy. It does seem crazy, yes.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's something inside information that coaches don't like him for some reason.
I never heard that. I never heard that.
Yeah, me neither. As far as the Mets, listen, I don't want to play Monday morning quarterback, but I watched every one of those games during the winning streak, and it wasn't like the winning streak where the Yankees have. They weren't playing great baseball, Mike. They were scoring very little runs. Their opponents were weak. There were a lot of errors in those games late. They're in the bottom of home runs. They're in the bottom of the league in runs. And I trust you in saying Cespedes and the big two of the keys. But the problem with that philosophy, Mike, is Cespedes is in and out of that lineup. And even if
that's the only chance they have.
But, Mike, even if the big two are pitching well, the Mets aren't scoring any runs.
Yeah, but the only chance they have right now is for their start, because I can't address the issues right now. There's no addressable way to deal with these issues right now. They don't have a way to get a catcher. They don't have a way to get a catcher in that lineup right now who can hit. They don't have any 3, 4, 5 starters right now that you can count on.
And I don't want to kill Sandy, but the one thing for years, Mike, I've been calling, I know a lot of other people, they never addressed the catching situation, and that was a problem for 3, 4 years.
Well, listen, the other guys, DeGrom, both catches.
Darno
and Plawecki is not a good hitter. He's not a bad receiver. Darno had his moments when he got hot, like last September, where he had a big September. He's had his moments offensively. He's not an automatic out by any stretch. I mean, he can hit a little bit. He's not a good catcher, but he can hit. These guys are automatic outs. I mean, these guys are, they're double-A players. These guys, they're not good players. Now, Mesoraco is a decent receiver. He hasn't hit. That 1 year, he had 25 home runs. Since then, he hasn't hit at all. He's averaged like 170. So, I mean, they wouldn't have given him away if he could still hit. He's proved that year was a complete fluke. He's not a bad receiver. But they need, let's see if he can put anything as far as an offense, at least be somewhat competitive. Darno is at least competitive. He could hit home runs. He could, he had some power in the bat. He had a good run last year in September. I know you don't want to look at September stuff, but at least he had a good finish last year. He's not an automatic out like these other guys were. So that was the biggest issue. My point is, for the Mets to just stay even competitive now, they are going to need their big guys to step up and play really well. Otherwise, I don't see how this is going to even happen. Back after this.